I'd like to call this month's meeting of the Historic Preservation Commission to order. If you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Historian Merrick, if you'd start with the roll call.
Okay. Chairman Chris Brandt.
Here.
Vice Chair Mark Johns.
Here.
Bruce Dumbald.
Here.
Greg Walters. Sarah Corona.
Here.
Jennifer Ahrens.
Here.
Ann Himes.
Here.
And myself, I'm here. Just missing one, we do have a quorum.
Great. All right. First order of business as always. We have some brief written minutes from last month's public meeting, which was mostly our public presentation. I know that these minutes are relatively fresh, so I'll give everyone a few moments just to doubly verify the minutes and if we have any corrections here. I have no edits. Does anyone else catch anything? Okay, can I get a motion to approve the minutes as submitted? Anyone want to make that motion?
I motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
All right, get a second?
Second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Johns. All right, all in favor? Aye. Aye, great. Approved as submitted. Thank you, Greg, for your work on that. Okay, in contrast to last month, we do not have anyone here for public input. So we'll move on from there. We do not have any present applications for a certificate of appropriateness or for a landmark designation application. So moving then on to the correspondence section. I don't have a chance to take a look at the mailbox before tonight's meeting. I don't know if we have any other correspondence aside from what was already announced last month that we received.
Right. No, I have nothing new in the past 30 days by either email or regular mail.
Great.
And I checked that just a half hour ago.
Okay. So we'll move on to the liaison report. I got two items here underneath it, but Craig, I'll let you go first if you got other items to report, and then I wanted to touch on the budget, both this year and looking to next year, but I'll let you first take the floor with any other updates on your end.
I actually don't have anything
Okay.
for tonight.
And then as far as our current budget, I know we were trying to verify either with the comptroller or the clerk what we had on hand for this year's budget so that we can potentially order landmark designation plaques. Did we get a clarification on that yet from the comptroller?
Right, I thought I said something. I'm sorry. Nothing was carried over because it wasn't encumbered.
Okay.
So in other words, if we would have had ordered plaques in December, they would have been encumbered, and we would have up to 3 months or 90 days to pay it. But we didn't encumber anything, so there was nothing held over.
Gotcha.
It was just a wash at the end of the year.
Okay. So then at the next item then, I know that the comptroller was going to potentially reach out to set up a meeting with us to go over the process for this upcoming budget. Have you been contacted yet for that?
I have not, but I do know that they are, they're getting they have a new computer program for budgeting. Mm-hmm. They're learning the ins and outs, and that's why everything was kind of tabled for 30 days this year. Instead of 1st of May, it was 1st of June. So I will reach out to the comptroller in
Okay.
the next couple of days.
Great.
I know we were going to separate it, and the comptroller agreed. The historian's office would be one budget, and this board would be a separate budget,
Correct.
instead of trying to pay Peter to rob Paul.
Yep. Agreed. Okay, so then we'll move on to the committees. So we have one committee, but for our landmark property owner letter and pamphlet, I wanted to just touch base on that to see if we had any, like the final version, if we're ready to print for those pamphlets and letters, or if you guys have any further updates, I'll turn it over to Sarah and Jennifer on that one.
So unfortunately, I wasn't able to work on the pamphlet, the updates from, I think, 2 meetings ago. I will definitely have that done by our next meeting, though. One thing I don't have, because I could definitely make all the corrections, no problem, is just the pictures. So I don't know if you just want me to take pictures on my phone of, like some of the buildings on this campus to include, or if we want other pictures. I don't know if there's a place that the town has pictures that can be used.
I say we do have that vast supply of historic photos down in the historian's office, right?
Yeah.
I think that would be a good.
We should do historic photos. Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah, I think
I'm
that'd
happy to coordinate with you, Sarah. If you want to, we can coordinate a time we can go together at the historian's office. But
Okay.
yeah, there's quite the collection of historic photos downstairs that we can
Okay, that
potentially
works.
hunt around and find a few that are landmark properties. Okay.
And one thing I was also thinking of too, because I can't remember exactly what they look like, but would a picture of the plaques look good somewhere in there? Like, was it? Because it doesn't say like the property address or anything on it, right?
No, it just says the year of significance.
Oh yeah, but I don't know. I thought something like that could be interesting.
I don't have a photo. I have like,
There's a like mock-up they
Proofs.
made, right? Yeah. So if they make like another, well, then the proof is tailored to the year, right? So then
yeah,
I guess you could do the year the town was founded as like the representative year.
well, I wouldn't have the ability to change that. I just have the proofs that we had.
And we might not be able to use the proofs if that technically belongs to that company.
That's true. Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
all I have a copy of the ones we ordered, and they sent me a proof before we gave them the go ahead to make
Yeah.
it. So
I
it
think
is
that's
what
fine.
it
That was
is.
just
We
a
can't change
random
it.
thought of
Yeah.
ideas
We're
that would be cool
changing that
pictures.
anyway, so it wouldn't
Right.
technically be accurate.
Yeah. So
Unless you can find, go to a house and take a picture of one, but I don't, like Greg never got one, so we can't do his. So.
right.
And I don't know if the other people put them up, so.
Yeah.
Let's just stick with historic photographs. That'll be
Yeah.
easy enough.
And then actually the letter, I know we're finished with it, but Jennifer, did you have the finished copy of that?
Digital,
Yeah.
probably.
Okay, because I think you were the one
Would
I
be
did.
in drop.
Huh?
It would probably be in the Dropbox, the final, but I can follow up on that if
Okay.
you guys do the.
Just to make sure we have, because I think some of it we were going to make sure, wait a minute, if I'm remembering correctly, just check that some of the wording was the same in both.
Right.
Okay. Yes, I can follow up on that.
Great. Yeah. 'Cause, yeah, it'd be wonderful. We can get those out after next month's meeting. Okay. I think we're all done on that. So we've got a series of old business items. Got a brief update for the townwide historic resource survey. As I believe most of the commission is aware, but just to make it aware for the rest of the public. So to review, we did receive 3 proposals from 3 qualified candidates out of the, I think, a total pool of 8 or 9 potential contractors that were reached out to. Those 3 candidates are being interviewed as we speak this week. I think we've now interviewed 2 of 3. So there's an interview committee that is comprised of the town historian, 2 members of this commission, Vice Chair Johns and Member Aarons, along with a representative of the town board and a representative from the town supervisor's office. So interviews will conclude this week. I think our final one is on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And we should have a selection made, and then depending on timing, I know Councilman Weiner gave us a sort of little schedule on the town board workshop. We're hoping we can get all of our ducks in a row so that town board could actually review and approve the contractor on their June meeting here in about 3 weeks.
That was his hope.
Yeah,
June 10th would be the workshop,
June
and the
10th.
18th would be the board meeting.
yeah.
Yep.
So more to come soon.
And I
Also,
think that he wanted to meet with the committee to discuss the interviews.
okay.
Yeah, I sent an email to try to jumpstart that process right after our meeting today, because is it Councilman and Deputy Supervisor Weiner is going on vacation next week. So I'd like to do it at the end of this week if we can, while it's fresh in our
Right.
We
minds.
should do
Yeah.
it as soon as we can, even if it has to go into the evening, I don't care, just
Right.
get it done and.
Yeah,
We could, Friday's a good day, I mean,
yeah. I
between
sent
9
out-
and noon,
Yeah.
or 9:30 and 12:30 for me.
Let me see if anyone responded. We'll just keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I think, let's just make sure, maybe before the committee interviews that third and final participant, if you guys are able to lock down a debrief meeting for the committee, just to ensure that decision's made sooner rather than later.
I think that's what we're talking about for Friday.
Friday, yeah.
Right.
But, okay, so more to come. Stay tuned. Also with that, I did send around to the commission on the Townwide Historic Resource Survey. If you do have a chance to take a look at the sort of map of the town that we'll be providing to the selected consultant as a sort of like a springboard for them to identify potential districts, properties of interest, items like that, so they can start to get their bearings on their work. Obviously, they're going to go through the whole process and sort of make these decisions, but we can certainly assist them with a sort of, we'll be interacting with the consultant as they go through the project, but it's certainly good to give them a initial basis of information or guidance. So if you all have a chance in the next month or so, feel free to take a look at the map. You can edit it if you like, or you can also feel free to just send me suggestions, and I'm happy to edit the map if you're not comfortable with editing the map.
Are you able to turn off things that are on there that aren't relevant at all to the purpose of the map, like stores and restaurants and things like that? Because it's kind of distracting.
I think yes, because there's like a series of different base maps that you can apply to it. I think one of them will do like not satellite imagery, but also like a schematic map without like building names or place names on it. Yeah, I'll take a look tonight when I get back home, see if I can turn that layer just to help with the clarity on that. But again, yeah, feel free to take a look at it, give suggestions, or even if you just have suggestions in the back of your mind that are things that you think are important, you can send them to me. And if they're redundant, we already got them. If they're not, great. The more opinions, the merrier.
I do have to say, from the responses from the two candidates today, the budget is limited with this large reconnaissance level, 21,000 properties, I think. So I feel like the more that we can help at the beginning to really focus in on suggesting good areas, I think they made it clear that the more volunteer labor and I think we need to define that too, Chris. Like one thing they talked about who's going to be on the stakeholder committee and who makes that sort of decision. Is it this commission only, or is it town employees, or do you know who's
So
on
I mean, that's one probably similar to the formulation of the interview committee. I think that's going to be, we'll ask the town for guidance, and we'll also ask SHPO for guidance, because both entities assisted the commission with identifying this process of doing the interview committee, and then rewinding back even further, just developing the RFP was through guidance from them. So yeah, I can reach out to the State Historic Preservation Office and ask them if they can provide us some input and guidance on if we are to have or need to have a stakeholder committee, what's the common or best practice for how that's formulated. Because yeah, I guess it's going to be more than just the commission. It's got to have some other vested interest or parties in it, aside from just us. Okay. Any more takers on townwide survey?
Is that something we have to decide, like, because right now they're going to kick off end of June, early July. I mean, obviously it's going to require the approvals and the contracts. So say it starts in July, which is summer, which is not a great time. But should we maybe by next meeting figure, do we have to reach out to these state, how to sort of gather that stakeholder?
Yeah, what is our timeline? I mean, are we confined to a timeline?
Yes.
Our main, we're confined by the CLG grant, which I'm not remembering off the top of my head, but I think, there's no extensions allowed. And the entire project needs to be 100% complete by, I believe, October of 2025, if I'm remembering correctly off the top of my head. But yeah, it's in our CLG grant requirement. So, I mean, we still have a fair amount of runway right now, but it's real easy to get that to slip. So, as much as we can keep our
October, you said?
October of 2025, but that, to be verified because I don't have the RFP in front of me.
Final submission to SHPO was May 20th. So is it there? It has to go before a
Right,
review
yeah,
committee?
that was an aggressive timeline in the RFP to give us a lot of breathing room if stuff goes not according to plan on the survey. I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure it's like October 1st, 2025 is when it's actually due. But thinking about volunteer work that supports the project as well as inclement weather or someone on the project team gets sick or any number of things, I didn't want to feel really optimistic and give them more time than they needed, and just in case there is something that goes sideways, that we actually have several months to kind of pick up the pieces instead of like a couple weeks. All right. Wimbledon Road, National Register District. So I think we made the announcement last month, but if not, the final draft has been accepted by the State Historic Preservation Office. It will be reviewed at the State Review Board meeting in June. If it's approved there, it will move to the National Park Service for their review. And if both entities review and approve without requests for edits or changes, the district should be officially listed on the National Register probably by the end of July or early August. It'll be officially on the National Register. So the two things I got underneath there, the supervisor's office has expressed interest in potentially teaming with the commission to have a public event celebrating the district when it goes through. So obviously that's a little bit of a moving target until we feel more comfortable that we're likely to have it approved. But it was encouraged to hear that there's that sort of interest from the town. So stay tuned. I'm sure a few of us will probably end up being involved in those discussions and our organization of how we might want to do that. And I would say maybe thinking to next month, if commission members have ideas about what maybe is part of that public event, feel free to either send suggestions or bring suggestions to the meeting next month. And then the next one was just to check in with Mark and bug him about if he's heard anything from DPW about signage.
I haven't progressed that anymore either because I thought the supervisor had a desire to make both the plaques and this signage more similar, which throws that whole DPW thing out, unless we want to go with a DPW manufactured plaque for the homes, which would not be consistent with what we've done in the past. So I'm kind of at a impasse, a conceptual impasse.
Yeah, that question on monies available through a budget process is what's kind of holding us up. When we meet with the comptroller, we ought to see if there's some funds that have extra money that we could borrow long term.
I still think it's not a bad thing to have two separate types of signs, because one's individual houses, and that's a little bit more, they're a little bit more refined and, you know, worthy of putting on a house, and may not be as susceptible to damage or the need for replacement. Well, they wouldn't be replaced anyway, but whereas the ones for the district are going to be in a public right-of-way, and they're going to be targets, and they should be designed to be able to be repaired or replaced easily and inexpensively. So I think our original path was still valid.
I'm confused because we're talking local designation and then state and NR, right? So they're like completely different things. So I think they should be.
Right.
That would be my recommendation,
Yeah.
is that we explain that the designation is quite different. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think that's a very valid point.
Also, and people who already have plaques, why make something totally different? It
Yeah.
just kind of would have a scattered overall appearance, I think, if they were different.
Yeah, I agree for all those reasons. I mean, we're looking to make some changes, but they're just tweaks.
Right.
It still looks the same, and it's still the same size and the shape and the oval, and so
All right, so I got it on maybe a note for myself, coordinating with you, Mark. We'll see if we can get a meeting set up between maybe the supervisor and Department of Public Works. And then maybe the four of us can get, or you and I with them can get together and iron it out. Because I think that in the interest of this potential public event, when I had the opportunity to mention this to the supervisor, it seemed like that was something that could be part of that event is unveiling the signage. So if that becomes of interest, then we got to really move.
to figure out how it's going to be mounted, to
Right.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
They could make little keychains of the, if they can stamp little, I don't know if they can do that, or if there's any scraps that are a result of manufacturing the signs. They can punch a little hole and make keychains.
Yeah, if you have a design and you have a price, I think that's a good iron to heat with. If you're going to have a public event, having the plaques and signs available for that event, there's got to be some money someplace.
Okay. I've got landmark plaques on here, but we've already touched on that. So we're sort of in a holding pattern until we sort it out with the comptroller for making an order on that. So we had some pre-meeting chatter about the draft revised code update. And I was maybe just turn it over to you, Mark, if you can just give a brief
I'm working my
update.
way through them,
So,
so I still have a little bit to go, but I'm making progress.
Okay.
My goal is to get them done by next meeting,
oh wow,
at the
ambitious.
the latest.
Okay. All right, make sure that gets into the record. Next month, all code edits will be compiled. And then I just have this I guess maybe more the, I'm trying to remember, we were calling this the parking lot. The cast iron historic markers, I don't think we have anything really up to date on that unless anyone's, I know we were kicking around ideas about is it an Eagle Scout project? Are there certain entities that might be interested in it? So I don't know. I mean, it wasn't really a high priority, so I don't know if anyone went out and sort of shook the branches to see if there was any potential partners out there. No problem if there isn't, but just had it on there as a reminder that we did talk about that, whether that becomes a project in the future that we want to pursue. So I assume no updates unless anyone wants to jump on that. All right. So last but not least, good and welfare, just sort of open the floor. If there's any last things to add or new business, I have nothing, so I'm going to open the floor to you all if you have anything.
So I'm thinking that with this committee, the subcommittee that was doing the letter and the pamphlet, maybe we then divert our attention to working with the town on website and communications, because I think it's going to be important that we have something, especially if we're doing this resource survey soon, that is something on the website that we can give to the town that they can post. I don't know how that works. So I guess we have a page, right? The Preservation Commission has a page. And the pamphlet can go there and the brochure. But then we need to have something about the resource survey probably on there, especially in regards to when the public meeting starts up. And then can we get on a Facebook page that then links to the website? And I don't know anything about how to do any of this, but I'm thinking we should probably prep for that because it's going to come soon. And
It's probably a more important meeting to get between us and the supervisor and whoever to get that all ironed out, because we don't want any of that to hold up the consultant either. That's why Jennifer's point about the stakeholder group, that's all stuff that we need to get settled right away so that we don't hold them up, because we're already hearing that we're behind. We know that, like a month, so we don't want to be the cause of any more delays. So we should get this going. We're going to need that to, notify the public too. Oh, you might see people walking around taking pictures. Don't be alarmed. Blah blah blah. So
So I'd say with that, with my email to the folks at SHPO, I'm happy to also ask about that, about how if they have examples of how other municipalities have managed that outreach, or if they have websites to point to. Would the committee be willing to take on, like, sussing out from the town who we might coordinate with on the website? And I can at least get the input from SHPO.
yeah, we have the contact from, she was on the call today and she seemed great. She's a town employee in charge of Director of Communications.
Samantha.
Sammy.
Sammy, yeah.
She seemed,
Sammy McManus.
she's going to be a lot of help, I think. And so the sooner we can, so we will take that on.
Great.
Are you interested, Annie? Okay, good.
So
Technically,
the
we
three of you are going to meet with her then?
Committee, according to this. Minimum.
That works to do that.
Do you prefer virtual, like Zoom, during the day? Can you meet during the day?
During the day, it depends.
You're with kids.
No, just my work schedule. Just
Okay.
sometimes I have open spaces, sometimes I'm full. So
Okay.
either. So during the day, virtual is probably the best.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say the same for me. I could make in person some days, but virtual.
Let's just do virtual then. Yeah, okay.
We all have faith in you. Anything else? Last calls? So it sounds like our subcommittee is morphing, so maybe we'll have that on our next agenda as an update for our subcommittee for Historic Resource Survey Communications. Okay. Hearing none, can I get a motion to adjourn at 8:01 p.m.?
Happy to make the motion to adjourn.
Okay. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. All right. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
parking area or anything like that to make